Yes, beautiful people, Daniel again with Dr. King on our second segment. Dr. King, you indicated to me a while ago that the state of affairs of our nation isn't doing too well. So what can we collectively or individually do to affect change, in your opinion?
Donald, the most important thing is education. Because as a person thinketh, so they are and so their life is. The mind is the measure of the person. So education is the key. Now, for our children, that starts with early childhood education, which is the foundation where they can learn to love themselves and be strong and powerful. And then it continues into teaching them how they can process in their brain information into knowledge and wisdom in terms of their decision making. Our current education system does not do that. Yeah, and I think that when we're talking about education, remember, we're not just talking about the classroom. We're talking about the Constitution. We're talking about the political process. Because our children need to understand their Constitution just like they need to understand their history. The history of oppression, where they're coming from, what happened to them to get them here.
To be honest, Dr. King, I don't think we really are people who are aware of our constitutional process, for common knowledge. So for the layman, I would just like to ask you quickly, how can we use that conversation about the Constitution to affect change?
Well, because the Constitution defines the political process and the system of governance. We must know that Constitution, and so that we can tell the politicians that the political reform we want is to interpret the Constitution to have a full democracy for full participation of every citizen, such that the collective system works for everybody, especially the most vulnerable, especially the children.
So I see you calling for citizen participation as well. So it's incumbent upon every person and every individual, every group, to find a space and to find a place so that we can have further discussion like that. What do you think that we should do as an individual or as a collective to get to that point where we can look at the Constitution and change things?
It starts in our homes, and it continues in our classrooms, and it continues in our communities. So we must be having conversation about self-governance, self-governance, self-determination, self-empowerment, and this is what our Constitution does, because our Constitution enshrines our fundamental freedoms of speech, of thought, of association, right? Therefore, our Constitution gives us the freedom to be the people that we should be, to break the chains of the mental slavery that still bind us. The chains have gone from physical chains on our wrists and our ankles to the chains in our mind.
So it's changing a way of thinking.
Changing the way of thinking.
Changing a paradigm.
Changing the paradigm. And you can only do that by truly educating our children with the facts of their history and of their Constitution, and then of course asking them to think about the future and what they want to see, and then of course engaging them to make those actions which will cause them to actualize, for them to be the citizens that they can be and should be.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. King. Another interesting conversation with Dr. King. We hope to continue this in a series of documents or mini documentaries. So if you guys have any opinions, any likes, can you share it in the comments and let us know. Thank you very much.